Hey, we're live with Matt of From Ashes to New. Welcome aboard. It's another at-home exclusive. What's up, dude?
At home exclusive.
Yeah. So, do you think you've been making the best of your quarantine time thus far this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think that I've got a lot accomplished that I probably wouldn't have otherwise. So, or I would have had to have paid somebody to do for me.
Were there a lot of things like non-music related that you were able to get to that you kind of were too busy for before this all happened?
Well, I don't know I mean, touring makes a lot of things difficult. So we've been moving for like a year now. Just one house to the next house, and we just finished building the house that I'm in right now. It was supposed to be done in April, and then because of the whole COVID thing, it got pushed back to June. So if I had been touring the way that we normally been touring, it may have been it would have been really difficult to try and move in here. So
yeah,
I got that done and out of the way. Some home life stuff.
Yeah. Do you feel more pressure to get in shape? And eventually you're going to have to tour again, and that takes a lot out of you.
Yeah, I was just talking to my wife about that about 15 minutes ago. I was like, I just had Twizzler before I came on here. I'm like, I'm just making horrible life decisions when it comes to the way that I've been eating and not exercising because of the lack of gyms.
Yeah, it's been Jolly Ranchers for me.
They're good.
That's just stuff I never ate before, and then now that it feels like the world's crashing down, I'm like, let's get the sugar. Let's get all the sugar.
The grape Jolly Ranchers and the sour apple Jolly Ranchers are like,
dude,
some of the best candy on the planet, man.
I'm glad you like the grape. I feel like nobody else likes the grape.
Really? Oh, that's the best. That's the best flavor is grape.
And the flavor you want is always the one there's the least amount of in the bag. It pisses me off, actually.
That's the way it always works, man. It's like Runts. I don't know if you ever ate Runts, but like I loved the banana and I loved the hearts, which was like I guess supposed to be strawberry.
The pink heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are great.
There was never any. It was always limes. Like, who wants all those limes? No one wants all those limes.
I don't think they do. They weren't the best one in the box, and I also agree with banana being one of the more unpopular flavors that I actually like.
Oh, banana was the greatest. See, you and I, man, like we can't share a bag of candy because we could be fighting over all the good ones.
It would be a fight. As far as From Ashes to New goes, during quarantine, you guys were still pretty busy. Did a bunch of cover songs. You guys did a Green Day parody. Whose idea was "Wake Me Up When 2020 Ends"?
I get asked this question a lot now, actually. So we were doing all these quarantine covers. Most of the stuff is actually, I think everything that we've done outside of that one has been like a fan selected song. We've gone based off of what people are requesting. And I talked to Danny I talked to the guys quite a bit. Danny, I talked to, quite a bit. And I was talking to him and he's like, hey, I had this joke that I was singing to my girlfriend and her sister and they thought it was hilarious. And he started singing the first two lines of that parody. Just like a 2-line joke that he created. It was not a song that he was working on or we were working on. And I was like, dude, I was like, you got to write this. I was like, are you working on like turning this into something? He's like, no. I was like, you need to do it now.
Yeah. I feel like parody songs are typically meant to be joke songs, but a lot of people probably hear that parody and think, I feel that exact same way. Just wake me up when all this is over. I'm done with it, So it probably connected on not just a humor basis, but an emotional basis for a lot of people.
Yeah, man. And at the end, I get stabbed. And
you're talking about the music video.
Yeah. Not at the end of life.
Right.
At the end of that was actually my kid who stabs me in the video. But like we're watching it back now and we're like, oh man, like because it ends with "Wake me up when 2021 ends."
Okay. Yeah.
I'm thinking, man, like I'm hoping this wasn't prophetic. Like
same.
The purge happened in 2021.
I noticed something else in that video. Do you have twin Siamese cats?
No, I have, and I'll call them my wife's because they piss me off more than they don't. So, but I have a Tonkinese and a Siamese.
Okay, yes, and one of them was definitely a Siamese. I caught that, and I was taken back to Lady and the Tramp, man.
Yeah, way back.
Yeah, way back before any of us were born, actually. As far as that song, did you guys ever hear from Green Day about that parody? Did they say anything?
No, we haven't heard anything. Hoping if we do, it's something good.
Yeah, I imagine they'd be pretty good sports about it. I mean, they let Weird Al do Canadian Idiot, you know.
So understand after we recorded the song though is the song's actually about Billy Joe's father passing, and I didn't know that, and like I felt some sort of way about it. I was like, man, I feel like really bad now because I'm not really into Green Day. I used to listen to Green Day. What my sister listened to like when Dookie came out. My sister's older than me, so like I got familiarized with that album through her when I was a kid. But I never really got into Green Day too much. And I didn't, I don't know what their songs are about. So when that was, people started commenting that on YouTube, and I'm like, man, like, I had no idea that that's what this was about. But at the same time, like, it wasn't like we were trying to take what they created and make fun of it. Like, we just happened to use a melody and, a musical bed that they created.
I have a feeling there's no way he would be offended, especially on that basis. I mean, if you're an artist and you're putting things out there, you're subject to parody, and if you're a D-bag about it, then you're a D-bag. That's just, so I imagine, I think you'd probably find it humorous.
I love when people talk bad about our songs. So it's hilarious. Not even making parodies. Like I love reading the negative comments. Like,
oh yeah. And there will be negative comments. Yeah, it happens.
Oh. Some of them are just downright hilarious, man. They're just some of the best things you can read.
Yeah, if it's good to look at it that way. You know what I mean? If you start taking it personally, you go crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I found that out early on in radio, man. You can't take that stuff personally. You know what I mean? You can get a "Wake Me Up When 2020 Ends" T-shirt right now on your website. Is that right?
You can. Yep. It's actually our most popular T-shirt we've ever had.
Oh, look at that. Hey, you got to make your money somehow right now if you can't tour, right?
Yeah, man. It's touring is how we make money. Touring and selling merch on the road. Those, you think about like what you sell merch online as opposed to what you sell merch on the road. It's a fraction.
Right.
So, it's how we feed our families and support ourselves. And online merch is now taken over for our touring.
So let's talk about what you got going on right now. Let's talk about Panic. First of all, it's the most added song in rock radio this week. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You wrote the song in 2019 before any of this stuff happened. And then in March, it kind of took on a new meaning. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've always dealt with anxiety. I don't want to say always dealt with anxiety. I actually started dealing with anxiety a lot in 2016, 2017. When the band kind of started losing members and we had tours and we had to cancel the tours because we couldn't find replacement members and stuff like that. It really hit me hard because I had left a career. I have a family. I left a career to pursue this career. My career before this was, it wasn't a great career, but it was one that could definitely support a family throughout the duration of life. So, I was kind of at this place where it was like, wow, is everything that I've really worked for all these years coming to an end that abruptly? So it really hit me hard. And then I started dealing with like panic attacks, and I started dealing with, all this anxiety. And I didn't know how to deal with it because I never dealt with it before in my life. It wasn't something that I was accustomed to. So when you hear me talking about what I'm talking about in the song, it's really talking about like my life and my struggles and the way that it feels when I'm dealing with, general anxiety. Sure. And for what happened in the world and what is happening in the world to just happen to be perfect timing. I mean, in the worst way, I guess. Right. But it had nothing to, like you said, it had nothing to do with what is going on now. It had everything to do with what has happened in mine and, other band members passed. So
the video shoot was canceled initially.
Yes.
You eventually did get a video made for Panic. How did you end up getting that done? How did it go from canceled to finished?
Well, so initially there wasn't even supposed to be a video. So initially Panic wasn't even supposed to be the first song released. And we fought like hard. We're like, this song is like this song represents what we're doing on this record. I mean, the record's called Panic. So, we fought really hard to get that song released. Once we got it released, we fought really hard to get a music video. And then we finally got the music video, and then this whole thing happened and it shot it down. So originally it was supposed to be at a venue. Like we were supposed to do it at a venue in New York City and have fans come out and like have this live performance. Because we had the whole mask idea that we have with the zipper face on it. Like that whole mask idea was something that we had created, prior to COVID and everyone wearing masks. So we're like, okay, so you're going to wear this mask, you're going to wear the glasses, you're going to become the show. And we'll have these people buy them at our shows for merch when they come through the door. They'll buy it online and they'll come through the door and they'll wear it while we're performing. And it'll be like this whole experience instead of just a show. It'll be an experience. And then COVID happened, and next thing you know, one thing after the other, they keep lining up. So it got canceled. It was supposed to be a live video music shoot with masks and this cool, aesthetic. And then the next thing you know, crew's quitting. We moved the location to upstate New York instead of New York City because upstate we were able to do it still. And I was like, get an office. Let's just destroy an office.
That had to be fun.
It was well, I used to be a cable technician before I did this. So it just ironically ended up being in a old cable call center. So it was very cathartic for me to just go in there and destroy everything. It was like I was going in back to the shop, my days of being a cable technician and just having a bad day with some bad customers and just letting it out on all the gear.
Hey, there's something to be said about that. There were actually people who were starting businesses a couple of years ago where you could just go in and smash stuff in their place. It's therapy, man. It's therapy for a lot of people.
Which is funny because like 3 or 4 doors down from where we shot the music video was one of those places.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We don't need that place. We got this place.
Yeah. Panic is the title track for your upcoming album. We're expecting that August 28th. What kind of surprises are we going to hear on this album?
Many. From Ashes to New over the past has been a band that's talked about, stay strong, overcome adversity. And now we've kind of taken on this record, we've taken we've done kind of like a complete 180 and we're doing it from the other angle. Okay. In the angle of how it feels before you get to the point where you feel like you need to overcome something, or where you get to the point where your willpower is strong enough to go, okay, I can do this. Like we're coming from the very bottom on this record and what it feels like to be there. And we're also tackling some subjects like violence in America or, the prescription drug problem in America. And, just different types of some of these social problems that we have in this country we're tackling on this record, but we're doing it from kind of an unbiased view. Like it's really like, okay, this is again what it feels like to be in this position, because some of us have had problems with prescription drugs, or some of us have had family members who have been addicted to drugs or have died from drug overdose, or some of us have been part of violent crimes. Some of us have had family members that have been part of violent crimes. So we've been able to kind of look at it from that angle and write music from that angle.
I kind of feel like all throughout the history of rock music, any time period of kind of heightened pandemonium in America makes for great rock music. Not to say that we should hope for it, but if you think about like 68 through 75, for example, the civil rights movement into Vietnam, think of the music from that time period. I mean, it soared. Rock music soared during that time period. And I think this is a time we're going to see a lot more rock music come out, and it's really going to hit those issues and be really honest. And I think we can expect that from Ashes to New.
Yeah, I think you're going to hear a little bit of that on this record. And I agree with that too, man. I think that rock music is, rock and metal music, it's aggressive, and I think it gives you an outlet to take let some of that aggression out. Yeah. And, studies show that metal music is actually better for your psyche than any other kind of music, and the reason is because it's basically therapy. Right. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think a lot of people are going to need therapy after everything that's going on.
No doubt. No doubt.
Use music as therapy, man. And I mean, that's what I've done my entire life. I've used music as therapy, and, writing it, performing it, and letting, listening to other bands and stuff like that. That has been my therapy through life. So I'm just happy and grateful that I could be a part of supplying that for people who need it.
So you're primarily a rapper in the group, right?
Yes. I play a little bit more guitar on this record. I used to write the majority of the guitars and stuff and the earlier stuff. Mm-hmm. I've let Lance kind of handle most of that now, which is cool for me because I can focus more on, lyrics, delivery, and things like that. it's a real team effort right now.
Do you have hip hop roots, or at least influences then?
Yeah, many. I mean, that's what I grew up on. So my sister grew up, like I said, about Green Day, but she grew up, in the rock and metal world. That's, she's, I don't know, 40 now. I don't know. She that was what was big when she was a kid. Pearl Jam was her favorite band. So I didn't want to be a part of that. I was like, no, I don't want to like what my sister likes. I want to like something else. So I gravitated towards, hip hop, like Bone Thugs and Harmony and Eminem and Tupac and Biggie and, stuff like that. Was like my era. It was like when I was a little kid, like Eminem was just coming out, and it was like the coolest thing on the planet.
Yeah. So you bring that into the rock music. Do you find it hard to come up with new, say like Danny comes in with a song, how do you figure out like, okay, well, I can insert a rap part here. I've got something great for this section. I mean, do you typically have kind of equal parts singing, rapping, and then you want to insert like an interlude in there? I could have asked that question better.
I know what you're saying. I don't know that I really know. I just think it's a whole feel thing, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's just like you sit back, like a lot of times we'll create the musical bed first, and then we'll sit back and we'll vibe that for a little bit. And I think that's what we do is we sit back and we vibe it, and it's like, you kind of get into it, and the next thing you know, like, you know what I mean? Like I could do something here, and then you could do something here. Like in Panic, it's like that the pre-chorus, like we were just sitting there in the studio and we were vibing to music, and we're like, we need a pre-chorus. Like it would be really cool if we could go back and forth. And then I just like came up with, well, why don't we do like one full thought instead of like thought. Like it's just one full thought. So it was like, why is there nothing but this feeling inside? Got me acting like I'm out of my mind. You know what I mean? Like it's one full thought. So that stuff, honestly, I feel like the best stuff, man, it just comes right to mind,
Yeah, if you can improvise rhymes, that's a talent, man. Not a lot of people can do that.
Yeah,
I would get tripped up.
Yeah, I mean, my freestyle skills are a little rusty. It's been some years since I've, when I was a kid, I used to freestyle quite a bit actually, and now I focus more on writing and making sure that what I'm saying in my delivery, it's impactful and means something.
Yeah. I believe we're looking forward to having you guys back in the Rockford area, the Apollo Theater in Belvedere. I mean, there haven't been any dates announced yet. So what is the outlook for tour dates in the future for you guys?
No idea, man. Like it keeps shifting, like 1 second it's like, we're going to start in September and we're going to go. And now it's like, we're going to start in October. And like, festivals are being canceled that were booked for the fall, or they're being postponed, or they're being rescheduled. So I wish I had an idea, man, because that would make life a little bit more or a little bit less nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I think to have a structure in your life again,
sure,
to kind of know what's going to happen. Yeah, it's everything's kind of hanging in the balance right now, and I think it's scary for a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm incredibly scared that football's not going to happen too, man. Like that.
Yeah, a lot of players are kind of saying, yeah, we're probably not going to play. Have fun, And how long until all the players kind of just say, you know what, I agree with him. I'm out.
I don't want that, man. I don't know that I have anything to look forward to this year if that goes away, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think baseball just said we're going to do a short season, and they've been arguing about money for months. And, I think we're going to decide to play, and then they're going to close everything down again. And I'm scared that's going to happen too.
Yep. It's going to be weird because I'm sure there's not going to be fans in the stands. So, watching these events with no crowd noise is just going to be super eerie and strange.
How do you feel about piping in fake crowd noise for TV purposes?
I don't know, maybe for TV purposes, but like, I think it's one of those things that first you're going to be like, that's weird. And eventually you're going to get used to it. Kind of like listening to Chris Collinsworth on Sunday night.
Yeah. You kind of just,
all right. It's Chris Collinsworth.
Just let it go now. Yeah,
exactly. So
if I were a pro sports player right now, I would be working it into my contract that when I step up to the plate, you pipe in applause. Okay.
Right.
I need that confidence that I had before all this.
Right. Or depending on if you're on the downslide.
Uh-huh.
I think that it's going to be weird. Like with football, though, if there's no live crowd in football, like that's a huge part of advantage and disadvantage. Like,
yeah, and a lot of these stadiums, it's almost unfair. You know, Soldier Field, it's a loud stadium, but New Orleans, it's impossible to hear in there.
Yeah, what is it? CenturyLink? Is that what they have up in Seattle?
Uh-huh.
It's ridiculous. Like that is another player on the field is, and it's the way with everywhere you go. I mean, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and the Eagles have been notoriously dominant at home because, I go to one game a year. I try to get out to. I think we've been successful the last 4 or 5 seasons. We've gotten to a game, and it's just the energy in the stadium is, it's electric. And I think without that, it's just going to be like, I can't even imagine being like Carson Wentz down there.
Yeah.
Like you could hear everything. You got to whisper in the huddle. Hey guys.
Yeah, and that goes back to social media. People being mean, fans can be ruthless, and if they're right there, they know you can hear them. They know they can hear you, and by the way, I know it's a couple years past then. Congratulations on the first Super Bowl win a couple years ago. That was pretty exciting.
Thank you. That's actually what's behind me right there. That is a panorama of the shot after like the confetti fell in Minnesota when the Eagles won. So that's it.
And you know what? Now we got your quarterback from that game. So, but from what I understand, he was starting to tank after that. So
he's a systematic guy. Nick Foles is he works in the system that you put him in. And when he went into Philadelphia, Doug Peterson knew what system to put him in.
Yeah.
So, if you put – it's the same way with it. If you put me in, let's say, Skillet and said, sing, I might do okay, but I'm not gonna be John Cooper.
Right. I mean, the guy from American Idol doesn't sound quite right singing Freddie Mercury songs in Queen. He sounds fine, but he's not Freddie Mercury. I get it.
Right. Was it Adam
Lambert? I think Adam Lambert. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so August 28th, Panic is when the album is coming out. August 28th, we did say that. Panic is a lead single from that, playing regularly on 104.9 The X. Matt, From Ashes to New. I wish I had an applause sound effect for you, but there's that fake applause. We need that fake applause sound effect from the NFL. We'll borrow it for next time, man. But we appreciate you joining us for another at-home exclusive. Best of luck to you guys. Congratulations on the success of Panic, and we'll keep pumping it out for you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you having me.
FromAshesToNew.com for all the info and all the merch and all the good stuff. Let's help this guy make some money, huh? How about it?
Yeah, man. Keep us alive.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Matt.
All right, boss. Take care.
Bye-bye.